to me. I haven't done this in a while. Well, a month is a while for me, even though I said I would be doing this like every week. And of course, I haven't stuck to my guns. I got overwhelmed as the new year came rang in, and yeah, didn't stick to it. So yeah, and I could have did it last week, but I was like, oh, I thought about it, but I didn't. And I ended up getting two different types of cameras. Still didn't. And yeah, I just, don't go out and buy things just because you're like, oh, okay, I'm not doing it because I need this. And then you go out and get it and you still don't do it. So yeah, that's a lesson learned. So who am I? I'm Sylvia Hubbard. I am a romance suspense author. And I'm trying to stop saying but hello, hi, Sonia. So today I'm going to talk about it's going to be like a writer's update for me personally. If you want to stick around and hear what I'm doing, then it's up to you. But writer's update basically will consist of what I'm working on, what I learned in this past month of not doing what I was supposed to do, and what I would like to happen. So what I'm working on. I just finished He Touched Me. That's pretty significant because I started on this book in 2018. A lot of people think I just run through a book. No, I don't. I do have times when I am working on a book and I'm just kind of like either intimidated by the challenge of this book, or I just don't feel comfortable writing this book at that time. So I didn't feel comfortable writing this book at that time because it was going into 2019 and the Me Too movement was going on. And He Touched Me is basically about a man who inappropriately touches this girl because he can't resist not he's just drawn by her trauma, and then he inappropriately touches her, and this turns into this whirlwind of, oh my God, the past and the present collide. And it ended up being a really good book. I had stopped at a point when I had dumped all the information into the book that needed to create the intricate plot. And then I didn't leave any notes. I didn't put any notes. And I think that's why I was putting this off, because every time I would reread this and I'd be like, oh, let me pick this back up. And I'd be like, oh, let me put this back down. So, and I'm going to tell you how I fixed that. And that's going to be what I learned. My second one, hello Ash, and my second one was his substitute wife, my sister. Oh, I forgot to say, He Touched Me ended up being, which I'm proud of myself, under 90,000. That is an accomplishment for me because I'm sorry. Well, you'll hear it on the replay. So yeah. But his substitute, which I'm very proud of myself, because if you know me, or you've been a part of my live stories, um it basically means that I have kind of got in reign of my word count, and I stopped doing those saggy middles where I'm just writing, because I am a pantser. So I tend to just write until the story is done. I don't really try to keep up with, my word count. And I've been trying to do that more often and getting it under 100,000. So that way the story packs a punch faster. And his substitute wife, my best friend, I am under 70,000 and I'm getting to the climax. I got one big night, the big night of boom boom, and his substitute wife. If you read my first book, his substitute wife, my sister, they were trying to have a baby and they used her sister. He ended up falling for the sister. And then and then it was it his substitute wife, my mother's daughter. The mother died. She comes home, finds out her mom had gotten married, never met the man she married, and then she ends up sleeping with him. And now, in his substitute wife, my best friend, she gets referred to a position at her friend's job, at their home, and finds out it's actually a proxy wife position. and that the wife is dying. She doesn't want anybody at the company to know, and she employs her to be the proxy wife. And so in this, I wanted to put together kind of a story that is going to be able to carry on throughout time, but and it's kind of new. No swords crossing, no, we don't eat beavers in here or anything like that. It's just kind of like, hey, she gets into this situation. She helps this lady go through one of the toughest things of her life as she's slowly dying for, and just to make her husband happy. So yeah, and I am under 80,000. I hope that by the time this book is done, I will be at least 90,000. So pray and hope, and then the editor can come in and kind of shave off at least 5 grand. But I think I'm packing a punch with every word, so that's kind of good. I am then editing, so I'm working on that book to get to my anthology. Hi guys. So I'm trying to get to my anthology uh kind of book that I need to write by May, which is also going to be a why choose again. But I am also editing Two Ways to Pleasure, which is also a why choose. So I'm just into like a why choose kind of thing. I don't know why. I'm trying to get out of it. Every time I do, it just draws me right back in. But um, the Two Ways to Pleasure I had produced back in, I believe it was 2012, 2013. I think it was back then, but it needed a lot of work, and I had changed a lot of the characters' names, which didn't change the whole document. So I'm going through and I'm finding out that I did that. And then I found out that I needed to do a lot of editing, which wasn't done in the first place. So then, sorry. So then what I learned, that's number two. Number two is what I learned. Uh, what I learned from January until now is that um, when I'm doing my editing for these chapters and posting them, a lot of times I am going through like Grammarly, and Grammarly has these great functions, which I didn't know. And if you didn't know this, you could actually, how they have great excerpts from your chapters. You can post to social media. You can actually ask Grammarly, can you pull out some great excerpts from this chapter I can post? So that's what I've been building, is great things, because even though I write it, I don't know if what I wrote would be good to post, and how much do you post? No one ever tells you that. And then you see authors have these great lines posted on their social media. So I asked AI to do that, which was pretty cool. Then I also asked AI to give me great synopsis for the chapters, so then I can do punchy types of chapters. Or I want to create like a log book or a story Bible to help me with the story Bible. I've been copying short synopsis that I can put in the story Bible. So when I have to come back to these chapters, I can say, hey, I need to know what happened in that situation, so then I can incorporate it into another story. So I've learned that. That's been pretty good. It's pretty it's pretty awesome when they do go in and do an expert review of what you've written, and then they don't have like any suggestions. Like they say, this is great exposition, or this is great sensory, so that you kind of know that you're doing a really good job. Someone's over your shoulder and trying to tell you this to make it a really powerful kind of thing. And because you want to make sure that you are giving that reader that sensory feel, especially in romance. So that's pretty cool. And that's what I've learned from these past 4 weeks, 6 weeks of writing and editing. My final word count, which was pretty cool. I don't have it in front of me. Oh, I do have it in front of me. So my final word count, I have it in my book that I carry around. So my final word count for January, I'm going to have kind of like up here. My final word count for his substitute wife, my best friend, was running at 61,000 at the end of January. And then for He Touched Me, I'm sorry, it was 95,000, but at least I got it under 100,000. So I'm trying to good. The final He Touched Me came out to 100,523, and I finished it on February 8th. At I even have the time, 4:23 in the afternoon. I'm actually going to be posting the last chapter of He Touched Me, and you can read it on my website at sylviahubbard.com/He Touched Me, or you can just go to my website, click the blog, and then join in from the beginning, even if it is the last chapter. And all my total word count at the end of the month of January was 104,000 words in 1 month I had typed, and I had spent 235 hours and 52 minutes writing, according to Living Writer. So during the month of January, I only used Living Writer to edit and work on my books. And this is how much time in January I spent writing, which is pretty awesome, I guess. My current as of February, it says that I haven't put a current running total as of February 8th. Yeah, I did the running times and everything. So yeah, I'm pretty cool with that. I'm redoing my cover for Secrets, Lies, and Family Ties. And I'm going to make that into a paperback. It was a paperback at the beginning of its run. It was a paperback, but I pulled it off because the cover looked, well, actually I had made the cover in paint. Don't ask me how I figured that out, but I had a cover in paint and I uploaded it, and I was selling that book like that. And I decided to put a new cover on it for the ebook cover. And now I'm trying to make the paperback cover, and I'm fueling money towards that project. Once I get done, and my husband just finished the audiobook for that, and now I uploaded the audiobook for his substitute wife, my sister. So if you go on my website, and if you do buy directly from the author, you are getting audiobooks with your payment. So that's kind of cool for my readers if you want to buy directly and support directly me instead of everybody else, but that kind of helps. So I'm adding those to my store. So if you're interested, you can go to my website and purchase. Once I finish but Two Ways to Pleasure. Once I finish Two Ways to Pleasure, I'm going to send that over to my husband so he can make an audiobook from there. And that's going to be really cool. And we're just trying to add audiobooks slowly. So if you've bought ebooks, you will eventually get the audiobook files as well added to your account automatically. So yes, that's a pretty cool deal. And I think that's it. Oh, I am in the process of getting Sin's Iniquity. I believe it's Sin's Iniquity. I can't remember. I think it's Sin's Iniquity that I am getting. The way, since my husband is a coder, he has learned how to code for audiobooks because of his wife, because the total amount, it's the payment that you have to make. I mean, I would love to use a real voice, but trying to get a real voice and with my wallet not set up like that. So since my wallet is not set up like that, I can't afford it. Now you could read them off yourself, but I hate the sound of my voice, and I've always done it since broadcasting school. So no, that doesn't work for me. But what my husband has done is that he's pulled a voice from open source, and she sounds kind of mature. It's a mature kind of Black woman voice that reads the story, because I wanted it kind of like a nice way for you to listen without anything. And she gets a little excited sometimes. She can expound upon things and stuff like that. um he's learning how to do all of that. So he's coding and he's learning from all his coding. So with him helping me out, it's not hard to do. I have to set up, what I did was I used ChatGPT to ask, how do you set up an entrance? Because they need an opening and a closing for the books. And I asked them, how do you set those up in so then I can just type it out for him, so the read can read it through before the opening, and then he adds the closer at the end to help me get there and be able to fill all that stuff in. Also, like on my Ream account, I'm adding audiobooks. I've added 2 audiobooks to my Ream account, and you have to add it chapter by chapter. So if you get somebody to code your books for you, tell them you need a full chapter file, so of the whole book, and it's going to be a really big file, so you probably want to have it either as a drive drop or something. And then you're going to also need a separate chapters, opening, separate chapters, and then at the end closing, to make sure, because when you upload to like some different sites, I've noticed that they've asked for chapter by chapter, and that's what I've been doing over there. But the question is it hard to do? Once I give it to my husband, it ain't hard to do. But coding it, though, he had to learn and figure all of that stuff out, because it is a lot of coding that you have to, that goes into doing the different chapters and pauses, and teaching the voice to do what you want it to do. But if you, sorry, my light went out. I didn't charge it. But if you want to do it yourself, it is going to be a little hard. If you pay somebody else to do it, it's just about, giving them the money and having them do it. So yeah, that's about good. I hope I answered your question to the best of my ability. But yeah, that has been a struggle. For the past 3 years, I've been like trying to do it on my own, and then when my husband now has jumped in, and we're slowly learning how to do it together. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool that I can have that resource, and then it all stays, here. How much does it cost for real voice actors? When I was doing it, first I tried to do it on Audible, and then I did it in Inaudible. It came out to, because I did the 4 books for Dark Facade, and each book came out to like $250 to $300 a piece, and that was just one book, and that book was like, oh, so it came up to like pretty much $1,000 when it was all done, and that was, it is not bad if you got that in your back pocket. And it does make its money back when you can upload it, it does make its money back. So that book was, I would say, about 85 to 95,000 words. So, and that's one of the reasons why I'm trying to shorten my books, is so I can get it under so many words, and then I can just go with audio. Like I said, I would love to use real voice actors, but after you get to like 65 books, yeah, $1,000 isn't bad until you get to 65 books, and you're like, oh my God, what can I, how can I afford this? So it becomes very overwhelming. And that's what I was spending years and years of being overwhelmed by, okay, yes, I wrote a lot of books, and yes, it needs a lot of work, and yes, I would love audio, but I can't afford it, blah, blah, blah. So I spent a lot of wasted time just saying, okay, well, I'm just not going to do it. Yes, I'm going to do it. And when I could be doing other things, or just researching this on how we figured out how to do it now. So I'm glad about that I finally figured that out. I write novels less than 200 pages. I think I'll be affordable. Yeah, it could be affordable. And you can actually go on your if you do it through Amazon, see if Amazon has the voice audibles on there, because they have it so they can take your book and make it into an audio. They haven't added it to my account yet. I don't know why. They've added it to all my other friends' accounts, but they didn't add it to my accounts, which is why we went on this thing, because I was like, well, since I can't get it from them, then I'm going to see how I can do it. And then my husband jumped in and started helping me. So that was pretty cool. So I'm going to get out of here. I think I've wrapped everything up. My notes fell on the ground and I don't want to pick it up, but I think I did everything about my writer's life, my update. And I want to thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to go back to start editing. I have a show tonight. So if you're following me on Facebook, I'll try to ping the show so you guys can come over and see what I'm doing. I'll see you on Saturday at the library. Oh, hey. Oh yeah, I should tell people my upcoming dates, right? I will have a lot of library appointments. One of them is this. Actually, I'll be at 2 events on this Saturday. So in the morning, I will be Ooh, don't get me to lying. I'll be at Sherwood Library, talking about the diversification and romance writing, and that'll be for 2 hours from 11 to 1. And then at 2 o'clock, I'll be over at the main library for the romance panel, the African American romance panel. And I am so happy because the library asked me to write an article to debut their romance book that they'll be coming out with, and I did an article on Beverly Jenkins. So I'm really excited because they'll be debuting that this Saturday as well. So I'm a part of that. Oh, thank you. And then I'll be doing some writing fiction workshop, the Amazon workshop. This month I'll be doing another diversification for Royal Oak Library. So check my website at sylviahubbard.com and go to events, and you'll be able to see that upcoming events. I do have a lot of it. And when I post this video, I think I'm going to make sure in the description that I put the links in there, so you guys can come and join me this month. And next month I'll be doing some, plus I'll be at some conferences in April and books. I think I'm doing a boozy book tour. I don't drink, so I may sound like I do, but I don't. But I'll be at a couple of boozy book festivals in April and May. But I am definitely doing a conference on the other side of Michigan, in Stevensville, Michigan, which I know is like down here somewhere. Yep, it's down here somewhere. But yeah, I'll be doing that. I won't be attending Rally for Writers because I'll actually be doing a panel in Detroit. Some girls are putting together a literary panel in Detroit for their project, and they asked me to come and be a panelist over there. So that's kind of cool. If you would like me to be at your event, you can always contact me. Go to my events page or contact page, find out, where you can fit me in, and I'll be happy to come out and talk and be a panelist, a workshop speaker, and a keynote speaker. So I hope to continue to fill my calendar up. I do have to do some work on that website. Oh, okay. But I'm starting to think about work. I need to get out of here. Do you mentor? I do consultations. I don't necessarily mentor, because when I was mentoring, it was draining. It was actually really depressing because I stopped doing mentoring, but I do consultations. So I'll meet with clients for 30 to 45 minutes. It's up to them when they would like to place their thing. And you can go to my link tree. It's on my Instagram, and then you can book me. And in that booking, we can do the consultation. So you can always go to my link tree and then book me, and then we can do a consultation. Usually it's about an hour consultation where I'll send you a sheet, you get all your questions out, so then we make sure it's packed full of information in that whole hour. But I don't just suggest do one consultation with me, because this is a journey. So what I do is I say, okay, when you're ready, or in the next 3 months, since I've given you all these steps, or I'll say 2 months, kind of like a doctor, I'll give you a recommendation when you should book me again. So then we can sit down, catch up, and then go through the process of what's the next step from there. So that's what I do. And a lot of people have asked me to do this more because they want to know, how do I get so many words on the paper? Especially during hard times like this. I'm from Detroit. I work under stress. It is in my blood to work under stress. So the worse it gets outside, the more happier I'm just typing away. But I think it is a concept of putting your butt in the chair, which I learned from Beverly Jenkins, is getting your butt in the chair and making an effort to get those words done. Seeing your progress is very important. So that's why I do keep a book. And actually, I'm filling this up. I just dropped my research out of it. But, I keep a book where you can see it has like the different things that I do on a daily basis. I literally, if you see the orange thing, those are the days that tells me the date I've done things, and then it tells me what I've done that day, if I've done a promo. If you see a lot of pink, if I see a lot of pink on the page, that means I've actually been doing work. If I don't see a lot of pink, that means I've just been updating. And well, this is my progress of the month, and then I've actually been updating. But if I see a lot of pink on the page, that means I've actually been doing a lot of work, and those are the days. The orange spots are the days. So it helps me keep kind of like a way to know that I'm doing this. Is Yeah, I'm updating this. I think I'm finished with, yeah, I'm finished with this one, and I'm going to the new step. So this is going into February, and it's letting me know this is what I have to do and what promos I have to do. So it keeps me optimized in what I want to do. And this is what I actually help myself stay focused on what I need to do. And I have to thank Inez Johnson for that. So for giving me that idea. I also, and I'll probably do a video by it, I have a board on my wall in the hallway. So it was like this really blank wall in my house. And I decided to buy this huge magnetic sheet that I stuck on the wall. I don't know how we're going to get, if I decide to move from this house or anything. I'm gonna have to take this wall down, but it's a magnetic wall, and I have these little towels that usually preschool teachers use, you know, to put stuff on boards. And I have these towels, and I wrote all my book titles on it. So first I wrote all the books I wrote, and so it's like over 60 towels on this board of all the books I wrote. And I actually have to get another thing of towels. I actually bought 3 things of towels, because I think it was like 20, it was like 30 or 40 each. And then so I now need to get some more. So then I wrote all the books that I'm working on, and I went to my work in progress page, and I wrote all those. I didn't even write all of them. I just wrote the ones I think I am upcoming. I would like to come out really soon. And then I wrote all the ones I wish I was working on, or I need to work on, that are related to the ones that are already published. So I wrote all of that. I put them all situated on the towel, and I actually need to go buy another board to put on the wall, because it is getting kind of cramped as I'm adding new towels to it. And it feels so good when you finish a book and you take the towel from the work in progress and put it over as finished or published. It just feels good that you're seeing the end to this book. It feels good and bad because you miss the characters, but it's good that, you know, hey, I got another book in my notch, and you know, it's another notch in my book world. And that's really motivated me these past, since I've had it up and I get to pass this board when I go down the hallway. It just really motivates me to say I want to write more, and I want more book towels. I want to add more things to this wall, and kind of make it, it's just a wall of fame for me, you know, to make it seem like I am actually doing something to my book life. And that's what I encourage everybody to do, is do something, but then write it down. Say, hey, I did something today for my book life. And that really helps. So I'm gonna get out of here because we're going on 30 minutes, and I don't really want to upload a video more than 30 minutes. But those are great questions, Sonia. Thank you. And I will see you Saturday. You have to give me like the biggest hug in the whole wide world. Like, I want you to just squeeze me really tight, because we all need that. Well, I need that. It's just for me. Just for me. Okay. Bye, guys. Thanks for joining me.